Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare,
Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare Rama Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare
Ram
Rama 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 Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
Hare Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare Rama Rama
Ram
Rama
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Hare
Ram Hare
Rama
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Ram
Rama Hare Rama
Ram Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare, Hare
Rama
Ram
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama Hare Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama Hare
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Ram Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama Rama Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Hare Rama
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda, and all glories to the members of the Hare Krishna Society, Prabhupada Disciples Association, and welcome to our Sunday morning reading and discussion of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and we're using the Delhi Bhagavatams, which we printed and now distribute worldwide as the books of reference for this program. And these Delhi Bhagavatams are amazing. And please, if you want to assist us in the distribution of these books, get a hold of us, please, if you feel so motivated. The books are treasures, collector's items, treasures of transcendental knowledge, which can educate people on the proper way to get out of this material world. Yes, there's a science to this. And Prabhupada so beautifully wrote these books, the translations and the purports. The purports are extremely enlightening. Yes, and they give direction on what the confused, conditioned soul should do to get out of this entanglement that we are all currently in. Yes, we are entangled in the material world. The gunas, sattva gun, raja gun, tama gun. We're entangled, someone may say, by ego. Oh, I'm not entangled. Oh, you can say that. But someone who's honest about himself or herself will realize we are all entangled in this material world. Not only that, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, as we know, we are insignificant. Yes, we're small little specks. 1/10,000th the tip of a hair size. Actually, we're anti-material particles. We're not, and I just recently found my copy of the reprint of the Easy Journey for Other Planets, Prabhu, Yaśodā-nandana. I could not find it. And Trevor, my friend Trevor came over to my library before I left for Yodapek, and he said, do you have that book, Easy Journey to Other Planets? And I'd been looking for 8 months for it in my library. I could not find it. And he went ahead, he started going through my library, and guess what he did? He found the book. And he looked at it, he started reading it at my ashram, and then he noticed anti-material particle. He go, oh, I got to read this. Now, he's a good person because a lot of times Prabhupada used to tell us to lend means to lose. Like if you lend money to people, you may get it back or you may not, or when you ask them to give it back to you, they may give you some trouble. Well, how come you're asking me to return your money to yourself? Why are you asking me? Well, to lend is to lose. So a lot of times when you give out books, you lose them. People forget, they don't return them. But Trevor, he's very good. He doesn't forget. So I said to him, here, take this. I'm going to go to Mexico. He's already read it twice since I left because he loves that book so much. The information that's there, it's a treasure. It's a diamond of information for the conditioned soul struggling to get out of this material world. So these Prabhupada books that we have are so valuable, and to protect them is very important for all of us. It's called Protecting the Legacy. I hope you saw the opening slideshow, everyone. If you come on time, remember the class starts now at 15 minutes earlier for japa, 2 japa sessions in the class, and 3 lectures by Śrīla Prabhupāda, and then kirtans, etc. We've restructured the program for all of us. I call it, and Vinay, who's here with us, I call it the PhD program of Krishna Consciousness. If you really want to know this philosophy, you come here. And why? Because there's all kinds of mantras, beautiful mantras, that Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, he chants so expertly. Yes, and that's a fact that Prabhupada recognized that in him. He recognized that in him, and he's now doing that in our program to give us some education, siksha. And this is part of our program today, is we're going to further discuss the different types of gurus, and especially because on the 20th of September, we're having an initiation ceremony. Yes. And some of the candidates who are very excited to get initiated will be formally accepted as Prabhupada disciples and his servants throughout their life. And they want it. They're very, I say to people all the time, if you want initiation, who initiates you? Well, the first person is yourself, because you want it. And then Krishna will accept you as his servant, providing you understand, one who says, he is my servant, is not my servant. This is a very important instruction in Nectar of Devotion. One who says he is my servant is not my servant, but one who is the servant of my servant, he is my devotee. So we have to know that service is in the chain of disciplic succession. And Prabhupada is our spiritual master. Simple logic. But do people get it? And not only is Prabhupada our Diksha and Siksha Guru, absolutely, because all the information that we learn comes from him. And people always say that. Well, did Prabhupada say that? Well, yes, he did. And that is the idea here at these programs, that we are always referring to Prabhupada's teachings when we discuss the philosophy. We don't make it up. We refer to his scriptures, his lectures, his letters, his books. And we, under the guidance of our Siksha Guru as well, we're learning the philosophy. And this is something that a lot of people are not capable of doing, or they don't know what they're doing, and therefore they are not really understanding how to be a devotee of Krishna, how to be a devotee of Prabhupada. They don't know. They think they know. Oh yeah, and everybody thinks they know. But we were discussing it the other day, myself and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. One problem that a lot of these people that are so-called authorities in this subject matter do not do is read Prabhupada's books forensically. They don't. And it shows when they speak. Actually, whenever a person speaks, you have to listen carefully to them. Yes, you do. Because you can discern then what kind of person they are by hearing them, not talking. Some people have that tendency. They just want to talk because they like to hear their voice. They sometimes yell. You got to listen to me. And we do listen. This is our propensity to hear and analyze where that person is. A fool can be revealed by when he speaks. That's what happens. And then you qualify them that way, by how they speak. And we have a reference, how we've listened to Prabhupada, and we listen to them, and then we understand the difference between someone that's enlightened and someone that's confused. Very important scientific process here of hearing carefully, Shravanam. This is the most important sense of all the senses, the ear. It's the most important. And this is how we can make advancement, everyone, by listening. And of course, Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. There are three principles. The bona fide spiritual master is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. The Shastras are his books, his letters, etc. And the sadhus are his disciples. Don't minimize that. Of course, because of things that have gone on in the mission, a lot of people do not trust Prabhupada disciples. I know in the Gurukula system from the past, Ram Raghava, you know this because you were in the Gurukula back in the 70s. I don't want to disclose his age, but it's a fact. And a lot of the people that were there then are not there now. That's the way it is. Most people have scattered throughout the world. And they're living lives. They're trying to find happiness and peace of mind in their own particular approach to spiritual life. Yes. And people can be on their own. Birds of the same feather, Prabhus, flock together. And that we're learning. And by the way, and we're going to go to this reading from the Nectar of Instruction. The people that are coming to our group, and there are a lot of them, by the way. Some of you, you come to the class and it's really wonderful to see you in attendance when you can. A lot of you come on a religious basis every week, 3 times a week, which is part of the qualification with our group. To get initiation, you have to come to the classes. And if you get initiation and you stop coming to the classes, what's the point? Because this is sadhu sangha. This is the association of devotees, and it's very important. Otherwise, you get confused. Oh, you will, because Maya is a force, and false ego is a force. And the way you mitigate it is by association with other devotees. And we're going to be having an initiation ceremony on September 20th, right, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu? The 20th. And we're excited. Bhakti and Amber, Bhakti and Shreya Devi Dasi, Vinay Prabhu, and are there other people, Prabhu? Yeah, there are. He'll mention them when we get to that section, and I apologize. Just so much goes on here when we do these programs. So many details, Ram Raghava? So many details. People think, oh, you just turn the switch and this thing happens. No, it doesn't. It happens by very diligent, focused effort from a group of us to present these shows for everybody's benefit, Joe Felice. It's not you just push the button and this appears. It's a step-by-step evolution. And it's evolving. And by the way, this time next year, I predict it'll be much different. The attendance will be much different. The circumstances will be much different. Who knows what tomorrow will bring, but we will be optimistic that Krishna will protect us, that Prabhupada will protect us, and we'll march forward to protect his legacy in the PDA, Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. So this next section, we'll go to it now. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, reading this nectar of instruction, this fifth verse and the purport, even though I've read this literature a countless number of times, it's ever fresh when I read it again. Even today, I was looking for the section I left off yesterday. And I'm going down, I'm reading through it because I'm making preparation with Ram Raghava to showcase it on the show. I was in touch with them earlier around 6 a.m. this morning. And I started reading it and I thought, I think I read this yesterday, but it's so enlightening what was spoken by Śrīla Prabhupāda in this book. I thought, let's start here because it's still relevant today. Even if I go over a few paragraphs that I read yesterday, what's the difference? I'll just read it again. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to this, there's the purport. Ram Raghava, could you do me a favor and put up the verse itself first, just to start, and we'll go from the verse, we'll go right to that section of the purport. Look at this purport. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Okay. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshiping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve the pure devotee, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupāda, who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. When Prabhupada is referring to that, everyone, he means fault-finding, criticizing, not fact-finding. People misunderstand that when we point out the problems that exist in some groups when the people claim to be a certain status of spiritual life, and in fact, all of a sudden, they cause trouble for thousands of people by their behavior. That's not fault-finding. That's a fact. So we'll go to this section. The chanting of the holy names of Krishna is so sublime that if one chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra offenselessly, carefully, avoiding the 10 offenses, he can certainly be gradually elevated to the point of understanding that there is no difference between the holy name of the Lord and the Lord himself. Very important point. To avoid the offenses. And we're doing them in the program, by the way, in order that we can memorize them again. This was something that we did when we were working in the temples. Every day, we would recite these prayers or this list of offenses. And in this way, because some people don't know them. They don't know them, yet they're chanting. They have to. One who has reached such an understanding should be very much respected by neophyte devotees. One should know for certain that without chanting the holy name of the Lord offenselessly, one cannot be a proper candidate for advancement in Krishna consciousness. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2269, it is said, Yahara Komala Shraddha Seya Se Kanishta Jana Krame Teni Bhakta Hoibe Uttama. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte, beginner. But gradually, following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first-class devotee. Everyone begins his devotional life from the neophyte stage. But if one properly finishes chanting the prescribed number of rounds of Harinam, he is elevated step by step to the highest platform, Uttama-Ācārya. This Krishna consciousness movement prescribes 16 rounds daily because people in the Western countries cannot concentrate for long periods while chanting on the beads. Therefore, the minimum number of rounds is prescribed. Just 1 second here. Time. Your time is most valuable. So you have to organize your time on a daily basis to fit those 16 rounds. And Prabhupada said, if you can't chant 16 rounds, then remember how many you didn't do that day and add them the next day. That's how serious this is. And anybody who claims to be a Prabhupada disciple has to follow this. However, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that unless one chants at least 64 rounds of japa, 100,000 names, he is considered fallen patita, according to his calculation. Practically every one of us is fallen because we are trying to serve the Supreme Lord with all seriousness, without duplicity. We can accept the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is famous as Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen. We are, yes, fallen. I have a great pastime I'll tell later. But Prabhupada said to me, where is the question of fall down when you're fallen? When Srila Satyarat Khan, a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, asked the Lord how a Vaishnava could be recognized, the Lord replied, Prabhu kahi yanar mukti suni ekabara Krishna nama se puja shreshta sabakara. One who hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Eteva yanra mukhi ekas Krishna nama seyata Vaishnava karirata tanhara sama mana. One who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's names, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respects as such, at least in one's mind. That's from the Chaitanya Charitamrita 15:111. One of our friends, a famous English musician, and we know who that is, George Harrison, of the Beatles, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna. And even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness in all regards. He has very high estimation of Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. Therefore, we offer respects to him without reservation, for we are gradually actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Forensic reading here. Carefully meditate on what Prabhupada is saying to us. And by the way, this Hare Krishna chanting that he did affected millions of people. Yes, popular music, but it affected millions of people. Such a person should always be shown respect. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. On the other hand, we have witnessed that some of our contemporaries who are supposed to be great preachers have gradually fallen into the material conception. Go ahead. Of life because they have failed to chant the holy name of the Lord. Now, who is Prabhupada referring to here? Joe Felice. Some of our contemporaries. He's referring to his god brothers, just so you know. And there is much information about his relationship, which people are confused about very much. That's why we recommend you come to this program so we can clarify the relationship between Prabhupada and his god brothers. And we'll leave it at that. You can ask those questions anytime by calling us. While giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu divided devotional service into three categories: Shastra Yukti, Nahi Jane Dridha Shradhavan, Madhyamadikari Sei Bhagavan. A person whose conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong, but who has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and who is also undeterred in the execution of his prescribed devotional service, should be considered a Madhyam Adhikari. Such a person is very fortunate. A Madhyam Adhikari is a Shradhavan, a staunchly faithful person who is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. Therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita is said, Shradhavan Jana Hoya Bhakti Adhikari, Uttama Madhyam Kanishta Shraddha Anushari. One becomes qualified as a devotee on the elementary platform, the intermediate platform, and the highest platform of devotional service, according to the development of his Shraddha faith. Again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Sada Sabde Vishvasa Kahi Shraddha Vishchaya Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoya. By rendering transcendental service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This confident, firm faith, favorable to the discharge of devotional service, is called Shraddha. Shraddha, faith in Krishna, is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. Faith means strong faith. The words of Bhagavad Gita are authoritative instructions for faithful men and women. And whatever Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita is to be accepted as it is without interpretation. This was the way Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna told Krishna, Sarvam etad ritam manye yan mam vadasi Keshava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. This is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita. And this is called Shraddha. It is not that one accepts a portion of Bhagavad Gita according to his own whimsical interpretations and then rejects another portion. This is not Shraddha. Shraddha means, everyone, it means accepting the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in their totality, especially the last instruction. Sarvadharman parityaja mamaikam saranam braja. Abandon. This is a very important verse, Prabhus, and you must memorize this. Most children in India, they already have that memorized. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. They memorize these verses. They may not understand them, but they still memorize them. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. When one becomes completely faithful in regard to this instruction, one's strong faith becomes the basis for advancing in spiritual life. When one fully engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, he gradually realizes his own spiritual identity. Yes, Vijnanam. When one faithfully chants the Hare Krishna mantra, Krishna does not reveal himself. Sevan mukti hi jivadau swayam eva sparatyada. We cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead by any artificial means. Posing, posturing, and pretending, that goes on everywhere. We must engage faithfully in the service of the Lord. Stay humble. Such service begins with the tongue. Sevan mukti hi jivada, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasad. I'm going to stop for a second. Yesterday, I went to the market in Tepeslan, and I was going through the market, and what happened was I stopped at a booth. My friend Eli pointed out, oh, here's some Krishna paraphernalia in a booth. Well, look at that. And there was a lady there, an older lady and her daughter. And I saw them, and I didn't really see at the first glance how they were. And then the daughter came from behind the curtain into the store, and she showed me her kantimala. Oh, I saw that. And I had my bead bag with me. I was chanting rounds while we were walking through the marketplace. And she pulled out her bead bag. Oh, well, that was a close for me. I was like, oh my God, these people are devotees. It was just by chance. And, transcendental chance, excuse me. Nothing happens without the arrangement of Krishna. So I started to show them pictures of our Krishna conscious process. And I showed them pictures of Yaśoda with Prabhupada and myself. I have a variety of pictures. And they were absolutely astounded. They were like, oh my God. They couldn't believe their eyes. I was standing with them. Well, it happens. And they were very humble people. It was beautiful, actually. And then I thought, well, what can we do for a kirtan? And there was a few people gathering in front of the store. There was a guy standing there who was staring at me. So I thought, okay, well, the best I can do is I'll put on the Hare Krishna Jamaica song I recorded. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. So I put that on and we played it. And we had a kirtan, and a crowd gathered around the booth. At the front, people were walking by, they heard the chanting, and these ladies were dancing ecstatically in the booth, and we had a kirtan for everybody. And it was beautiful. And the best person that got blessed was me. It made me feel that here I had a chance to spread the holy name to even just a few people. And just like we mentioned here in the reading, anyone who chants the holy name even once is considered the best amongst all men. And if you can get people to trick them even to chant one name of Krishna, that is a blessing eternally for them. Let's go back and finish this reading. Can't help it, it's so beautiful. Okay, such service begins with the tongue, which means that we should always chant the holy names of the Lord and accept Krishna Prasadam. We should not chant or accept anything else. When this process is faithfully followed, the Supreme Lord reveals himself to the devotee. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servant of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna. He understands that his only His only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttama-Ācārya, and his association should be immediately accepted according to the 6 processes, the Dati Pratiganati. Indeed, the advanced Uttama-Ācārya Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master, and that's Śrīla Prabhupāda. Exclusively. Everything one possesses should be offered to him, for it is enjoined that one should deliver whatever he has to the spiritual master. The Brahmachari, in particular, is supposed to beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. Sorry, I'm going to stop for a minute. Yesterday, Yaśodā, I spoke to a lady, Elizabeth, in Germany. She called me after the class. She was so inspired with the class that she wanted to call and talk. So I've spoken to her a few times over the due course of our programs. And she told me, I'm so nervous to go door to door. She wants to go door to door. She says when she goes out in the public, it's difficult for her. You know what it's like going on Yonge Street or wherever you're going and people are rushing by. No, I don't want. And really, my experience in life is the top way to meet people is door to door. Absolutely. I know that for a fact. I won't explain it right now. But I know that the top salesmen in the world are door-to-door salesmen, because it's a chance for them to meet people and cultivate them and hopefully get them to take up Krishna consciousness, which is very difficult to do. I can't remember where I'm going, but let's go back to the reading. Carry on. Okay, where are we there, Prabhu? Is it? The Brahmachari in particular is supposed to beg alms. Oh, that's right. Beg alms from the others and offer them to the spiritual master. So you can go door to door and do that. However, one should not imitate the behavior of an advanced devotee or Maha-Bhagavat without being self-realized. For such limitation, one will eventually become degraded. And this what happened in New Vrindavan. And it happened most specifically in Russia from 2 of our godbrothers, Kirtananda and Hari, whatever his name is, Hari Kesh. They not only degraded themselves, they hurt the spiritual life of thousands and thousands of people. And you tell me that doesn't carry heavy karma to do that? In this verse, Śrīla Rupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The devotee should also know his position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on the higher platform. And we'll talk about that during the program. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become, I'm going to read this again. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava, or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform, can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. This statement is very misunderstood by many of our God brothers. Prabhupada saying, don't do it. If you can't deliver them because you're not delivered, don't do it. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as his spiritual master. And Prabhus, let's collectively say it. That spiritual master is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. And anybody that says that he isn't or misunderstood this, their association must be avoided at all cost. This is blasphemy at the highest level. And for that, that's enough. That was amazing, wasn't it? Rochisha Devi Dasi, you look like you're in ecstasy. I think all of us should be in ecstasy because we're hearing Prabhupada speak without adulteration, without change. And the truth will set you free. And we're going to go to the next section of our program, which is the Prabhupada lecture. So listen carefully to every word. Thank you. I want to thank especially Trevor. It's a phone number here. He comes to every class. And we really appreciate it when people show up on time and attentively listen to everything so that we can get the maximum benefit from this opportunity to associate with like-minded God brothers and sisters. Hari Bol, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam.
Translation. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent.
In the previous verse, Arjuna said that there is no profit in this fighting because the other side, they are all my relatives, kinsmen, and by killing them, even if I become victorious, so what is the value? That we have explained, that such kind of renouncement sometimes takes place in ignorance. Actually, it is not very much intelligently placed. So in this way, Eva Mukta saying that so there is no profit in fighting. Eva Mukta saying this. Rishikesha, he is speaking to the master of the senses. And in previous verse he has said, Shishaste aham prapanyam, I am your surrender disciple. So Krishna becomes Guru and Arjuna becomes the disciple. Formally they are talking as friends, but friendly talking cannot decide any serious question. When there is some serious matter, it must be spoken between authorities. So, Rishikesham has several times explained, Rishi means the senses, and Isha means the master. Rishika, Isha, they join together, Rishikesha. Similarly, Arjuna also, Guruka, Isha. Guruka means darkness, and Isha. Darkness means ignorance. Ajnana timirandhasya jnananjana salakaya Chakshu militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Guru's duty is, a Shishya, a disciple, comes to the Guru for enlightenment. Everyone is born foolish. Everyone, even human being, because they are coming from the animal kingdom by evolution. So, the birth is the same, ignorant, like animal. Therefore, even though one is human being, he requires education. The animal cannot take education, but a human being can take education. Therefore, Shastra says, Nayana deha, deha bhajan niloke, kastan kaman arhati virujan. I have several times recited this verse. And now, in the lower than human being condition, we have to work very hard simply for 4 necessities of life: eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Sense gratification. Main objective is sense gratification. Therefore, everyone has to work very hard. But in the human form of life, Krishna gives us so much facilities, intelligence, we can make our standard of living very comfortable, but with the purpose of attaining perfection in Krishna consciousness. You live comfortably, that's all right, but don't live like animals, simply increasing sense gratification. The human effort is going on, how to live comfortably, but they want to live comfortably for sense gratification. That is the mistake of the modern civilization. Yuktahara viharasya yoga bhavati siddhi. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yuktahara, yes, you must eat, you must sleep, you must satisfy your senses, you must arrange for defense as much as possible, not to divert attention too much. We have to eat yuktahara, that's a fact, but not utyahara. Rupa Goswami has advised in his Upadeshamrita, utyahara prayasasta prajalpa niyamagraha laulam janasangascha sarabhi bhakti pranasati. If you want to advance in spiritual consciousness, because that is the only objective of life, then you should not eat more, utyahara, or collect more. Utyahara prayasasta prajalpa niyamagraha. That is our philosophy.
Very revealing. Prabhupada mentioned here, just quickly, that friendly talks cannot answer any serious questions. So the relationship between devotees is a serious one. And frivolity, whimsical behavior is not going to help one get out of this life, especially those who are covered with a serious false ego problem. If you have any questions, please write them in the chat. Yesterday, we had a wonderful discussion in the chat, questions and answers for people to get an understanding of how to be devotees, especially those that have never lived in an ashram, never practiced brahmachari or brahmacharini life. This is an opportunity to get to understand this process from the association of others who have. Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. Everyone is born foolish, Prabhupada said, coming from the animal kingdom. We'll get out by the grace of Sri Krishna and Śrīla Prabhupāda. We're going to go to our next section, which is the chanting of the bhajan, Jaya Radha Madhava, with Śrīla Prabhupada. Chant along, sing along with it, just as if you were in a class with Prabhupada, and then we'll have our reading and discussion led by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Haribol.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Nāmācārya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se Gaur Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivāsādi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gaur Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Tulasi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskrityam. Narayanam namaskrityam. Naram cheva narottamam. Naram cheva narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Śrīla Vyasadeva, the author, from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1-4. Welcome, everyone, to this reading and discussion on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. As we do every week, we will be reciting a few selected verses from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam itself, from the first canto, second chapter, which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Yadanudyasina yukta karmagranti nibandanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Shushrushoho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchihi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punyatiratani Shevanat. All the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all ranges of vice, a standard of great service is done, and as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Srinvatam Svakata Krishna punyashravana kirtanah hridyantasto yabadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire from material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing his, Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashta prayeshu babadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Tadara justamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chetaye terana viddam stitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the mode of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in a mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhaktiyo gataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in a mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man, affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord, can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishware. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We'll proceed with our verse. For today, we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, text number 21, all English synonyms, translations, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Text 21, Tata pradushkitam tejaha prachandam sarvato disham pranapadam abhiprekya vishnum jishnuruvachaha. Tataha, thereafter, pradushkritam, disseminated, tejaha, flare, prachanda, fierce, sarvato, all around, disham, directions, pranapadam, affecting on life, abhiprekshya, having observed in it, vishnum, unto the Lord, Jishnu, Arjuna, Uvacha, said, ha, in the past. Translation by Śrīla Prabhupāda. Thereafter, a glaring light spread all around the directions, and it was so much fearful that Arjuna thought it dangerous for his own life, and thus he began to aggress the Lord, Sri Krishna. Text 22. Arjuna Uvacha, Krishna Krishna Mahabaho, Bhaktanam Abhayankara, Tvameko Dashyamananam, Apavargya Adi Samsrite. Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna said, Krishna, O Lord Krishna, Mahabahu, one who is the Almighty, Bhaktanam, of the devotees, Abhayankara, eradicating the fears of, Tvam, you, Eka, alone, Dashyamananam, those who are suffering from, Apavarga, the path of liberation, Asi, are, Samsrite, in the midst of material miseries. Translation. O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead, and there is no limit to your different energies. As such, you are only competent to award fearlessness in the heart of your devotees. Arjuna also said that everyone in the flames of material miseries can find out the path of liberation in you only. Purport by Śrīla Prabhupāda. Arjuna is aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna, as he had already experienced it during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present in the active field. Therefore, Arjuna's version about Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty and is specially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees only. A devotee of the Lord is always fearless on account of the prime protection by the Lord. The material existence is something like glowing fire in the forest, and such fire can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. A person, therefore, burning in the flames of material fire may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words only, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material flames. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Gurave Namah. Bhagavad Vandana Kadhyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadate Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yache Punaha Punaha Śrīmad Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadaso Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Presta Sat Karomisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This particular section of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is very revealing. Not only did we have discussed previously the position of Aśvatthāmā, Aśvatthāmā being the son of Dronacharya, had a very auspicious birth. But although he was born in a Brahmin family, he did not behave like a qualified Brahmin. That is why in the text of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, he was called a Brahma Bandhu, or a friend of the Brahmana. Now, this is very important in the context of these particular verses here, because Aśvatthāmā killed the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were sleeping. And on account of this very heinous action, this very demonic action, Krishna was very displeased. Draupadi was very afflicted. She was crying. And Arjuna promised Draupadi that he was going to arrest this son of a Brahmin. He was going to arrest him. So he pursued him and chased him. And this Aśvatthāmā, because he had the power of a Brahmin, he released the Brahmāstra. We see in this text, it says, Tata pradushkritam teja prachanda sarvatu disham, that a glaring light spread over all around the directions, and it was so much fearful that Arjuna thought it dangerous for his own life. This was the power of the Brahmāstra. So this is very, very significant. Nowadays, we all know material scientists have invented nuclear weapons. And this has created great anxiety in the minds of people all over the world, that if such a weapon is used or misused, it can create havoc. It can create great mass destruction. So this is very dangerous. We see in text number 20 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam of the same chapter where Prabhupada explained, subtle form of material activities is finer than the grosser method of material manipulation. Such subtle form of material activities are effected through purification of sound. The same method is adopted here in the matter of chanting hymns to act as nuclear weapon. Now, this science of releasing a nuclear weapon or Brahmāstra by mantra is not known nowadays by not only material scientists, but any Brahmins currently existent, but it was there during the time of Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago. And Aśvatthāmā misused that Brahmanical power to create a problem. And Arjuna, rather than trying to counteract things by himself, what does he do? He prays to Lord Krishna. It's quite significant because several verses after this are very nice prayers by Arjuna. Because Arjuna is explaining here in this text 22, Śrīla Prabhupāda is explaining, Arjuna is aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna as he had already experienced it during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present in the active field. Prabhupada explains in the purport, and this is very significant in connection with what Vishwakarma Prabhu was reading and explaining earlier about the position of the pure devotee, the Uttamadhikari Mahabhagavat pure devotee. Prabhupada explains this. The material existence is something like glowing fire in the forest, and such fire can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. A person, therefore, burning in the flames of material fire may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words only, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material flames. Now, this is a very important point, because we see nowadays that many persons are claiming to be such a representative. Now, how do we detect, how do we understand what are the qualifications described by Śrīla Prabhupāda of a bona fide representative? This has nothing to do with voting or election or some political manipulation. No, that is not the standard. Because what we see is that the philosophy of Krishna consciousness gets twisted many times when people use the philosophy for cherry-picking some statements of Prabhupada out of context. Let me give an example. Just like Vishwakarma Prabhu was reading from the Nectar of Instruction, where Śrīla Prabhupada was explaining that a Madhyamadikari, a disciple, or one who takes some so-called discipleship in the capacity of a Madhyamadikari, that the disciple cannot advance very well under his insufficient guidance. Now let's understand something here very clearly. There are two kinds of Madhyamadikaris. One kind is the spiritual master who is actually situated on the platform of Uttamadikari Mahabhagavat, but for preaching, he comes down to the platform of Madhyamadikari. That Madhyamadikari never falls down. The other one, who is posing and posturing as a pure devotee, Prabhupada explains in a lecture. I'm going to read here for this lecture. This is a very important point for all these people who claim that a Madhyamadikari can be a guru. This is a lecture by Śrīla Prabhupāda on December 13th, 1972, on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 1, in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. Again, on December 13th, 1972, Prabhupada is explaining the three different kinds of adhikaris. When it comes to explaining the Madhyamadikari, Prabhupada explains, and tadishvare tadadineshu balisheshu dvishasu cha prema. Prema, love for Krishna, and maitri, and to make friendship with the devotees. Prema, maitri, and kripa. Those who are innocent, one should be merciful. The devotees should be merciful just to awaken their Krishna consciousness. And dvishatsu cha upekshaha. And those who are envious, they should be rejected. These four classes, to try to love Krishna, to make friendship with devotees, and to give some service to the innocent public who does not know what is God, and those who are envious asuras, they should be neglected. The Madhyam Adhikari should not touch the demons, because maybe he may turn again, be demon. Therefore, one should be very careful not to associate with demons. Now, this is quite significant, because many people are claiming, well, Madhyamadikari, that is just as good as Uttamadikari, and everybody can be a guru. Well, look at the warning here. Prabhupada says the Madhyamadikari should not touch the demons, because maybe he may turn again, be demon. This is pretty clear. There's no ambiguousness here. It is not something that can be misunderstood. This is not something that can be misunderstood. It's very easy to understand. It is not complicated. It is not difficult. It only becomes complicated when people misuse texts like this to try to promote a defective philosophy. Now, here's another quote from Śrīla Prabhupada to help us understand the exalted position of a pure devotee. This is a conversation in New York in July of 1976, on July 14th, 1976 in New York, USA. This is an interview with a Newsday newspaper, July 14th, 1976. Interviewer, in the same way, I'm curious with respect to the way Krishna communicates with you, whether it is in a similar kind of way that he gives you your necessities. Bali Mardan. In other words, when you decide that someone is to be in charge of a particular temple, does Krishna tell you that this person should be in charge? Interviewer. Or do you, by judging him, say this person is qualified? Śrīla Prabhupada. Yes, because a devotee always consults Krishna, and he gives order. Interviewer. It's a more direct communication? Prabhupada, yes, and he gives order. Ramaswar. Because intelligence, our philosophy is that intelligence comes from Krishna, So if I have some interviewer, and your philosophy is that your daily necessities come from Krishna as well, Rameswar, yes, try to understand. Suppose my intelligence sees that this person is qualified. That means Krishna has told me. Prabhupada, no, not necessarily. Krishna will tell directly. A devotee always consults Krishna, and Krishna tells him, do like this, not figuratively. Interviewer, does that apply then to other kinds of decisions and other kinds of activities as well? Prabhupada, everything. Because a devotee does not do anything without consulting Krishna, Bali-Mardana. But that applies to a very great elevated soul. That is not an ordinary person. Prabhupada, that is, therefore, the minor devotees, they consult the spiritual master. That is our process. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado. Rameswar, I see. I was trying to explain the minor devotees. Interviewer, no, I was talking about Rameswar. You're talking about the topmost level. Interviewer, yes, Bali-Mardana. He's getting right to the source, right to the top. Interviewer, that will do it for me, thank you. So the point is that in analyzing the difference between a Madhyamadikari and a pure devotee, Prabhupada explains nicely, a pure devotee has a direct contact with Krishna. The Uttamadikari Mahabhagavata has direct, specific contact with Krishna. This is not complicated to understand. And when somebody is trying to pose that he is on that level, that's where the problem comes in. Now, what we have is a situation where the philosophy of a lot of times gets distorted to fit a political agenda. There's no place in Krishna consciousness for anybody to try to twist the philosophy, to try to twist Śrīla Prabhupāda's words for a personal agenda or for some nonsense idea. Because if somebody tries to do that, the results are not likely to be good, and we have seen this. The significance of this. Coming back to the situation with Aśvatthāmā and the release of the nuclear weapon. Before this class last night, I sent out a compilation of different statements by Śrīla Prabhupada about nuclear weapons and Aśvatthāmā. There's a lot of different statements by Śrīla Prabhupada making comments about this particular lila of Aśvatthāmā releasing the Brahmāstra weapon and Krishna telling Arjuna or empowering Arjuna to counteract this. This, I'm going to read here for a section of a lecture. This is a Bhagavad Gita lecture on Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 23-24 in London, England on August 27th, 1973. Bhagavad Gita lecture in London, England on August 27th, 1973. In this lecture, Prabhupada said, but there can be a weapon from water also. That was used in the battle of Kurukshetra. Here, the atomic bomb is thrown, Brahmāstra. From the other side, the watery astra is thrown so that the energy of the atomic bomb is immediately finished. So what do scientists know now? Although they have manufactured atomic bomb, but they are unable to manufacture another weapon counteraction of atomic bomb. That is not possible. But there is. Atomic bomb is fiery. And if you manufacture another bomb, which is watery, then you can counteract. Because fight means I charge you with some kind of weapon. You have to protect yourself by the counteraction. That was going on. So nayanam chindanti shasrani, nayanam dahati pavakaha. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Back to you in the studio.
Who would have thought that there could be a nuclear weapon 5,000 years ago and being projected or sent by mantra? Amazing. That's the power of sound vibration. And we're going to move forward with another section of the program, which is these questions and answers in our chat that we're going to have Yaśodā Nandana Prabhu answer. We're going to have Ram Raghava, our Prabhu, in Georgia. And thank you, Ram, for your meticulous. He's a doctor. He's very meticulous. So thank you for your meticulous approach to this service. Prabhu, what's the first question you see in the chat we can give to Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu? Ram Raghava.
The first question is from Mother Shreya. She says, we read that chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is non-different from the Lord himself. From your own experience, could you kindly share how the realization that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is non-different from the Lord unfolded in your practical life? What were some of the inner transformations or shifts you experienced as you progressed in the practice, so that we may better understand what to expect along this path?
That's a very interesting question. From my level, I don't have much realization, so it's a little difficult for me to actually comment on this, but I'll try. First thing I experienced when I first heard the chanting, let me give my personal experience. When I saw Prabhupada in 1970, 67, 68, whenever that was, in Montreal, and I heard the chanting for the first time, I felt something inside my heart that this is like really, really transcendental. At that time, I was practicing some kind of yoga and things like that. But these kind of practices, unless it's received from a bona fide Acharya, bona fide guru, there's not much result there. But hearing the Maha Mantra first time from Prabhupada was like very piercing. It felt like a complete relief of any anxiety, any problems, any difficulties. The next experience I had was in Quebec City in 1969 in the summer, where one devotee who had personally met Śrīla Prabhupada for 2 minutes in Montreal, just 2 minutes. He met with Śrīla Prabhupada, and Prabhupada told him, whoever you meet, tell him to chant Hare Krishna, tell him to read Bhagavad Gita, and try to give him some prasadam. So this person was a quasi-hippie with long hair, and he looked like some modern version of Jesus Christ walking around. So he went to Château Frontenac in Quebec City, which is a big, huge castle, and there's a park across the castle. And what he would do is sit there and chant. And all kinds of hippies and beatniks and all kinds of young people would come there, and they would chant with him. And as part of the program, he had a Bhagavad Gita, and he would read like one paragraph from Bhagavad Gita, and he would cut up some fruit and offer it to a picture of Krishna, give everybody a piece of fruit. And I participated in the chanting, and afterwards I went to see him, and I say, what is this chanting? I've heard this before. He says, oh, I heard that from the Swamiji. So Swamiji is in Montreal, you should go see him. And he showed me his Bhagavad Gita. At that time, we didn't have the 1972 Bhagavad Gita. He had the 1968 Bhagavad Gita with the purple cover of Lord Vishnu there, but it's still Prabhupada's words. So it's quite amazing that he had met Prabhupada for 2 minutes, and he was just following Prabhupada's instruction and chanting, reading a little bit from Bhagavad Gita, and giving people a little bit of prasadam. And somewhere or other, he gave me a set of beads, and he showed me how to chant on the beads. So every night when I would do this yoga, I would chant on the beads and like that. And then a week later, what happened is that the school was finishing in 1969, so I ended up hitchhiking to Montreal to go to the temple. And at that time, I had pictures from India, Mahatma Gandhi on the wall. I even had a picture of Lord Chaitanya. I had no idea who he was. He was dancing with long hair and a dhoti, and I said, that looks cool, and we put that on the wall. And then what happened, I went to Montreal, and I wanted to get the Bhagavad Gita that this devotee was reading from. So I bought the Bhagavad Gita, and I said, I want to get the cloth. Like the Shripati was wearing a dhoti. I said, I'd like to get a dhoti. I said, well, you can't just wear a dhoti. You have to be a devotee. I said, what do I have to do to become a devotee? I said, well, you'd have to shave your head. You have to follow this, follow that. I said, okay, I'll come tomorrow. So I read the Bhagavad Gita all night. Next day, I went back to the temple, shaved the head, and they gave me a dhoti and became a devotee. The point is that the Maha Mantra received by Prabhupada or his followers, bona fide followers, without personal motivation is effective. And there will be immediate relief from the miseries of material existence. This is very important. That is the first point. Now, the inner transformation, the real inner transformation, along with the chanting, because when I was reading Bhagavad Gita, this was the answer to all the questions I had for years and years of yoga practice and trying to study, because I had been reading the four Vedas in French, translated by a Sanskrit academy in Paris, France. Of course, not that I understood anything, because you can't understand the Vedas without a spiritual master. But when I read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and I heard the chanting, then immediately I could see it. This is the answer to all the questions. Because when I first went to the temple on Park Avenue, they had Śrīla Prabhupada's tape chanting the Maha Mantra, and a gigantic poster, it must have been 6 foot tall, of Śrīla Prabhupada's face on the left side of the entrance of the bowling alley temple on Park Avenue, near Mont Royal, près de la montagne Mont Royal. And this was just, it's like very, very powerful. There was a great first impression from that devotee, but hearing the Maha Mantra from Prabhupada was super potent, and it's a transformation. Although I was not yet initiated by that time, you immediately feel the transformation of hearing the voice of a pure devotee. I'll leave it at that for now. Hare Krishna.
Very interesting. We'll go to the next question. At one point, Yaśodā, you recall I was at 1420, I think it was 1420.
3720.
3720 Park Avenue.
4th floor.
Yeah, I still remember walking up the stairs. I served there for a year. And every time I walked up the stairs, I realized Prabhupada used to walk those stairs to go up to the top, even though he was an old person. And Prabhupada, they had one washroom right at the end of the hall there. There was a bowling alley, and they put up these sort of paper walls, and they created this temple room. And the story that I remember that everyone told us, that Prabhupada used to wait in line to use the washroom with the other devotees. Because there was so many people there. And I also was the cook in the kitchen. And I felt very blessed to be there because Prabhupada cooked in that kitchen. And that kitchen was about, 2 feet by 6 feet. There was no room there.
Very small.
Very small. We used to cook the feasts and that, and follow in the footsteps of the spiritual master. Next question, Ram Raghava, from
Hare
our
Krishna.
chat, please.
Just by the way, there are about 16 people watching on YouTube live stream right now. And one of them is Sihan. Sihan has a question. Hare Krishna. Many think of witchcraft when hearing the word mantra. How can we explain the difference between Maha Mantra, mantras in this section, and witchcraft? Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I don't see that question in the chat here. Did it disappear?
It's in the YouTube live stream.
Oh, okay. We have no such thing as witchcraft in Krishna consciousness. In India, some people practice these tantra, these dark arts, especially in places like Kerala and some southern parts of Tamil Nadu. It's still practiced there. This is basically things in the mode of passion and ignorance. There are Vaishnava tantras, but we don't follow this witchcraft. I mean, Prabhupada's attitude when there was difficulty from some contemporaries in 1970 in Los Angeles, Prabhupada introduced the Namaste Narasimha prayers. And the way that Prabhupada explained it was for the protection of his movement, protection of Krishna's movement, to pray to Lord Nishingadev. But as far as witchcraft, we don't really have much to do with that. I mean, in India, it's very common. Even in Bengal, some people used to worship ghosts. In the Bhagavad Gita, these are described as worship in the mode of ignorance and the mode of passion. There's a lot of different demigods and demigod worship and a lot of different tantras and different modes of worship, especially in India. But we don't follow these various practices. We just follow the practice recommended by our Acharya Śrīla Prabhupada and our previous Vaishnava Acharyas. I hope that helps.
Okay, next question, Ram Raghava. Go ahead.
So from MK Kumar, Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my respect and humble obeisances. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Prabhuji, my questions. 1. What Śrīla Prabhupada tells about term Jagat Guru? Did he like the term Jagat Guru if disciple address him Jai Jagat Guru, Śrīla Prabhupada, or shall we address our Prabhupada as Jagat Guru or not?
Well, during Śrīla Prabhupada's presence, most devotees, as the movement went on and Prabhupada was by his disciples giving the honorific title Śrīla Prabhupada. Prior to that, people used to call him Swamiji, and his godbrothers used to call him Swami Maharaj. And in 1968 and 69, devotees realized that the title Śrīla Prabhupada was a more appropriate term for him. We use that term. As the movement went on and so many devotees joined, and devotees went to India, sometimes at the end of the kirtan, devotees would say, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai. I mean, Prabhupada did not introduce that particular eulogy, but it was done. There's nothing wrong with it. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a purport where Prabhupada mentions the word Jagat Guru with regards to some Mayavadis, criticizing that they're calling themselves Jagat Gurus, but they just stay in their villages and don't do any preaching all around the world. So in other words, the title Jagat Guru is very fitting for Śrīla Prabhupada. It was used a few times, sometimes at the end of the kirtan. What I've seen recently is a group of devotees calling Śrīla Prabhupada Vishwaguru. Now, there's nothing wrong technically with the Sanskrit term Vishwaguru, just that during Prabhupada's presence, we never addressed Prabhupada as Vishwaguru. This was a title that was given by some Mayavadi groups in India in an attempt to glorify Prabhupada. They gave him the title Vishwaguru. But the factual title of Śrīla Prabhupada is Śrīla Prabhupada, if somebody wants to use the word Jagat Guru. But this term Vishwaguru was never introduced by Prabhupada or approved by him. In India, they have different called Akaras, which are different Mayavadi groups. And they're an organization promoting Hinduism and everything. So some devotees in South India arranged for some recognition of Śrīla Prabhupada, and this group, this Akara, Akhila Bharata Akara, they gave Śrīla Prabhupada some title, Vishwaguru. But this was not approved or used during Prabhupada's manifested presence. Hare Krishna.
Another question, Rama Raghava. Do we have? Please.
Another very interesting question is a question by Mother Shreya. For the benefit of all, when you were learning from Prabhupada, did you ask questions to better understand the teachings? Or is asking questions considered inappropriate on the spiritual path? How did you balance having faith with the desire to learn through asking questions?
Well, the whole process of Krishna consciousness is a process of asking questions and getting proper answers. I mean, I wanted to understand everything. I was very eager to understand the philosophy. Again, as I said, in a very misguided attempt on my part, I was studying the Vedas in French, but not that I claimed that I was some kind of scholars. It was a French translation of the 4 Vedas from Paris, France, from some Sanskrit academy. Interestingly, in Europe, some French Sanskrit scholars in the 1700s had the first translation of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in French with pictures and illustrations. Now, coming back to the question, I wanted to ask questions, so many questions, but you have to understand, when I first came to the movement, my English was pretty bad because I was raised in French. And although you learn English in school from the 8 years old, in those days, in the 1950s, you didn't get much chance to speak English over there. So when I joined with the devotees, I had a very, very thick accent, and devotees used to ask me to slow down and repeat it again. And it took me a little while. Still today, I still have a little bit of a French accent. J'ai un accent français, mademoiselle. C'est toujours là. I'm explaining to Rochisa Mataji, I still have a French accent. It's always there. The point is, it's always appropriate to ask questions on a spiritual path. As a matter of fact, it's recommended. We are not followers of the ostrich philosophy of putting our heads in the sand, not asking questions. And look at this is very nice. Brahma Raghava, this is very appropriate. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 34, if you put the translation, Śrīla Prabhupāda explains, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So this is really a very good explanation of the question. As far as how balancing faith with the desire to learn through asking questions, that is why Śrīla Prabhupada wrote the books, because Prabhupada could not individually answer every question from 5,000 disciples. And he used to always refer devotees, read my books, study my books. If you have any questions, study my books, and all your questions will be answered. One of the reasons why so many conflicting philosophies and conflicting ideologies have come up after Prabhupada departed is because many of the leaders did not carefully read or study the books and discuss everything from all angles of vision. This is an important point, and Vishwakarma knows this, because in Toronto, I remember, they used to have Ishtagoshis where they would discuss things. They didn't sweep things under the rug, they discussed things. After Prabhupada departed, that was eliminated. Now the philosophy was, it's my way or the highway. It was a dictatorship on the basis of the false appointment ideology. And discussion went out the door. And anybody who tried to discuss or asked too many non-welcome questions was shown the door. And I know that from personal experience. Prajimna Prabhu, Prabhupada's personal Sanskrit editors, know that too. And many devotees were shown the door. This is not the philosophy that Prabhupada taught and implemented. That is why there has to be faith, but one has to be intelligent by asking questions and hearing submissively from the pure devotee, Śrīla Prabhupada. That is why we read the books. There was one devotee that I once discussed with. He was in Seattle, Washington. He never met Prabhupada. He got initiated. He got a fire sacrifice. He got a name, took the vows. He never physically met Prabhupada. So for the Vapuvadis who claim that you have to physically interact with the guru, was he really initiated? Did he get a bona fide initiation? Was that a proper initiation? Did Prabhupada follow the tradition? These kind of statements from people means that people are not educated into the teachings of Śrīla Prabhupada. If somebody claims, oh, I've studied Jiva Goswami's Satsanga, that's nice. Let's find out from the current representative of Śrīla Jiva Goswami, Śrīla Prabhupada. Then we can understand the teachings properly. Next question.
Yeah, go ahead. Just one comment. We had our Vinay ask us, can you discuss the pastimes? Prabhu, we have them recorded on previous classes. We've read the diaries 3 times in our classes over the last 3 years. So you can go back to the older classes and you can find out the information there in detail. And in the future, we'll continue with the reading of the diaries as part of our ongoing PhD program of Krishna Consciousness. Ram Raghava, another question from our gallery, please.
Okay, from YouTube live stream, Whirling Dervish is asking a question. A man in his deathbed who was never inclined to spirituality, rather who had rebuked his wife chanting Mahamantra, should he be made to hear Mahamantra in voice of Prabhupada?
Yes. Simple answer is yes, if he's willing to hear. You know, there's that famous story of a son who went to his mother and asked the son, please chant Hare Krishna, please chant. And the mother replied, can't. So if one has the mindset that he doesn't want to hear the Mahamantra or Bhagavad Gita, it's pretty difficult to inject it. But if one is sufficiently pious to want to hear, then it's their good fortune. Personally, I had the experience of a relative. When this person died, every night she used to have a set of beads that had been given to her, and she would chant 1 round in front of a small picture of Śrīla Prabhupada. And I never knew this until after this relative died. Now this person she never met Prabhupada, she never saw Prabhupada, but she had great respect for Prabhupada. She called him Prabhupada the prophet, or prophet. So if somebody has that much faith, then somebody will get the transcendental benefit. Let me give an example. There was a devotee in Vrindavan. He used to be in Montreal for many years, a French-speaking devotee from Haiti. I can't remember his name, but Vishwamana knows him well. Anyway, this devotee, his daughter was in Vrindavan, and she took some medication, and they found her dead in her room. So they went to Prabhupada. This girl died in Vrindavan, Prabhupada. So what do you do? What's happening to her? And Prabhupada said, he asked a bunch of questions, what she was doing. She used to attend the program. She used to chant. She used to attend the artik. She used to attend the kirtan, attend the class. And they found her dead. Prabhupada said, if you die in Vrindavan, you go back to Godhead. So it's a situation, because other times people ask Śrīla Prabhupada, can one just do all nonsense his whole life, and at the end of life, he'll just remember Krishna? Prabhupada, that usually doesn't work like that. You have to train the mind every single day to practice to remember Krishna, because at the time of death, all the activities of one's life will be there as the final exam. Just like if you go to engineering school or law school or medical school or accounting school, at the end of all your studies, and Ram Raghava knows this, you'll study, but there'll be a final exam. Well, you have to pass the exam. You have to prepare for the exam. This is very important. This human form of life, this process of sadhana bhakti, is meant to prepare for the final exam, to go back home, back to Godhead. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, it's a very interesting point. And I have a pastime that I can relate to the group here from Gopal, our Prabhu in Yotapek, that passed away here. And that was quite a experience for all of us to watch him leave the body and help him on his progressive path back to Godhead. But he told us a story, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, about Prabhupada. He was with Prabhupada in Philadelphia in 1973. And he has some beautiful pictures of Prabhupada that he left to us, that he took back then. And he was at a lecture where Prabhupada was speaking about the pastime of Ajamil. And the devotee that was explaining for Prabhupada to the class how that Ajamil chanted Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And he said it 3 times. And Prabhupada stopped him and corrected him. He said, not 3, 1, just 1 name. And we've read that earlier in our reading from Sri Upadeshamrita. Verse 5, the purport, please go to it, where it says there that if one chants the holy name of Krishna once, he is considered to be the best amongst all men. Just once. So think about that. And is there any last question? We're going to do one more before we go to our next section. Is there anything more, Ram Raghava?
No, Prabhu, there are no more questions.
Okay, we're going to move to a section of our program now called Our Living Guru, which is a new section for us to review more information on the philosophy of Guru Tattva for everyone's benefit. Yaśodā-nandana, please.
So we are reading from a booklet, Our Living Guru, Chapter 2, and this is a section about Lord Brahma. And what happened is in August of 1980, the GBC of ISKCON produced a report trying to explain how pure devotee or alleged pure devotees experience difficulties or fall down. Could you please reflect it back on the screen? Okay, so here's what Prabhupada explains. So far, Lord Brahma in his attraction for his daughter, this illustration should be taken by conditioned souls that even a person like Brahma is sometimes victimized. How much careful we should be Not that even Brahma was enticed, so we shall become enticed more and more. This is an example set for us by great devotees. It is thus clear that a progressing candidate on the path of devotional service must use the greatest caution while analyzing the exalted position of Brahma and other Mahajans. The GBC also claim about another exalted liberated devotee, quote, Dhruva Maharaj became overwhelmed by anger at the Yakshas for killing his brother, unquote. Śrīla Prabhupāda clarifies, Dhruva Maharaj was a liberated soul, and actually he was not angry with anyone. But because he was a ruler, it was his duty to become angry for some time in order to keep the law and order of the state. This is Prabhupada speaking from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text 13. This living guru tactic of devaluating the great liberated devotees has continued in an expanding pattern throughout the years. For instance, the GBC's living guru author, who wrote the Guru Reform Notebook, says on page 15, quote, on studying Dhruva Maharaj's case, I do not see at first how it applies to me and my GBC Guru Godbrothers. We didn't pursue an obvious material desire as did Dhruva, unquote. In short, the living guru author tries to paint the GBC's Guru project with all of its odious degradations, sectarian violence, and so on, as somehow higher than a factual pure devotee. Śrīla Prabhupada writes, quote, Dhruva Maharaj was a Mahabhagavata, or first-class pure devotee, unquote, from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text number 8. It is our duty to remember always that in comparison to Dhruva Maharaj, we are very insignificant. We cannot do anything like what Dhruva Maharaj did for self-realization, because we are absolutely incompetent to execute such service. This is cited by Śrīla Prabhupada from Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 73. And Śrīla Prabhupada here says, and by associating constantly with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his heart, Dhruva Maharaj naturally became equal to the greatest, Brahman, by his association, and thus he became the heaviest, and the entire universe trembled. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 4:878. Okay, then we'll go back to you in the studio, and well, on Wednesday for Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll continue to read the rest of the selection. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, very enlightening. We're going to move forward, Ram Raghava, with the 10 offenses.
Did you want that second lecture by Śrīla Prabhupada?
Yeah, do the lecture, then the 10 offenses, then the japa class.
Okay, this
Okay,
lecture
everybody.
is about 6.5 minutes long, and it's entitled, Our Philosophy is that Everything Belongs to God.
Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. The other day in Paris, one press reporter came to me, the socialist press. So I informed him that our philosophy is that everything belongs to God. Krishna said, what is that? Bhoktaram Jagatavasam Sarvarupa Maheswaram. I am the enjoyer. Bhokta. Bhokta means enjoyer. Oh, Bhoktaram Jagatavasam. Just like this body is working. The whole body is working, everyone's, to enjoy life. But where from the enjoyment begins? The enjoyment begins from the stomach. You have to give sufficient nice food stock to the stomach. If there is sufficient energy, if you can digest, if sufficient energy, then all other senses become strong. Then you can enjoy senses. Otherwise not possible. If you cannot digest, just like we have now, old men, we cannot digest. There is no question of sense enjoyment. So sense enjoyment begins from the stomach. The luxuriant growth of the tree begins from the root. If there is sufficient water, therefore the trees are called padapo. They drink water from the legs, the roots, not from the heads. It's like we from the head. So there are different arrangements. As we can eat from the mouth, the trees can eat from their legs. But one must eat. Ahara vidya bhayamatam. Eating is there. Either you eat through your legs or your mouth or your hands. But so far Krishna is concerned, he can eat from anywhere. He can eat from hands, from legs, from eyes, from ears, anywhere. Because he is complete spiritual. There is no difference between his heads and legs and ears and eyes. That is stated in the Brahma Samhita. Angani jasa sakalindriya vittimanti pasyanti pahanti kalayanti chidam jaganti ananda chinmaya sadhu jala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamam. So, as in this body, our sense enjoyment should begin from the stomach. Similarly, as the tree begins developing luxuriantly from the root, similarly, Krishna is the origin of everything. Janmadasya jata, root. So, without Krishna consciousness, without pleasing Krishna, you cannot be happy. This is the Krishna. Therefore, how Krishna will be pleased? Krishna will be pleased that we are all Krishna's son, God's son. Everything Krishna's property. These are facts. Now, we can enjoy taking prasadam of Krishna because he is the full proprietor, bhukta, enjoyer. So everything should be given first to Krishna and then you take the prasad. That will make you happy. That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Bhunyante te abhava papam je pachanti atmakaranat. Those who are cooking for eating themselves, they are simply eating scenes. Bhunyanti te abhava papam je pachanti jagyate karmanatra lokayam karam. Everything should be done for Krishna. Even you are eating, anything. All sense enjoyment. You can enjoy. But after Krishna has enjoyed, then you can. Therefore Krishna's name is Rishikesh. He is the master. Master of the senses. You cannot enjoy your senses independently. Just like the servant. Servant cannot enjoy. That is cooking very, very nice food stuff in the kitchen, but he cannot eat in the beginning. That is not correct. Then he will be dismissed. The master first of all must take, and then they can enjoy all the nice food stuff.
Very interesting. Trees are also spirit souls, and they eat from their feet, Prabhupada said. Amazing. And If you cannot serve Krishna, you cannot be happy. So let that be a thought for today. We're going to move forward with our next section, the 10 offenses, and then we'll have japa and the wind-up of the program. Hare Krishna.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8th, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Excellent. Anyone who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses. We're going to move forward with our next section of this PhD program, which is a japa session where we all chant together the Hare Krishna mantra. So get your bead bags. Let's go.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Yes,
Hare Krishna,
body weight,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
openness
Hare
and
Hare.
bearing.
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
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 Hare Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
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 Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram,
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 Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare. Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram
Hare Hare.
Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. Chant and be happy.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating in this lively discussion and reading. Thanks Ram Raghavu in Georgia. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Yatopec, Mexico. Madame Rochisa Devi Dasi dans la belle province de Québec. Krishna Kata Prabhu in San Diego. Bhakti Amber Endi in St. Mary's, Alaska. Rashikeshwari and Viprahita, the parents of Ram Raghava in Georgia. Bhakta Pierangelo in Switzerland. Forest Temple in Baja California. Michael Dillon in Yuba City, California. Bhaktin Shreya Mataji in South India. Anshuman Prabhu in Orissa. Bhakta Roy in Mississippi. Bhakta Vinay in South India. And Kanta Prabhu in Trinidad. And Karan Prabhu, wherever he is. All of you, thanks for participating, and please make sure you come back on Wednesday at 5:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for another reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Back to you in the studio.
Okay. Thanks again, everybody. We'll wind up the program. Hare Krishna. Do the credits and whatever else you want to put on the screen. It will be to our pleasure. Ram Raghava. I'm listening. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,